Hi, myself from Brand Nerds. Welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 10, Episode 2, Smile. Couple of points to start, so I will try and keep this review as spoiler-free as possible. There may be some minor spoilers ahead, so if you don't have anything spoiled at all, turn off now. Also, there may be some small yappy barking in the background. We've just got a new puppy, and new puppy is very yappy, so if you hear any barking, I'll try and edit it out, but if you hear a bit, apologies. So Smile takes place on an Earth colony. The Doctor and Bill arrived there to discover it completely deserted. We actually get shown what happens to the people of the colony right at the very start. So there's no real mystery as to what's happened. It's very obvious. They tell you right at the start what's gone on. Basically these robots things here, and this is all in the cold open, so I'll allow myself to spoil this bit. They have these robots that have been working on the colony and basically decide to start eating people. For various reasons. So the mystery is, why are they doing this? How can they stop them? So that's basically the story unfolds. It's quite a slow-moving episode. It didn't feel very well structured. I quite enjoyed it. It was nice to have a bit of a sort of simple episode. I quite like simple episodes. They've got a simple premise. They keep to it, quite nice and fixed to it, and don't go too mad. Has got an interesting twist about 4/5 of the way through, which I won't spoil, obviously. But they sort of do try and keep it under control. But overall, I quite liked it actually. Overall, as I said before, a bit slow paced. I think the enemy was actually a really interesting idea. These robots. It's the idea of an AI, because it is an AI that's gone rogue, but for a logical reason. That's what I find interesting. It's a bit like if you actually look to the background of how Hal was meant to go mad in A Space Odyssey. The film slightly different to the book, and the book, it goes into a good example as why it's an AI, basically AI parameters that he couldn't complete, and that's why he ended up killing the crew. In the film, it makes it more look like almost like revenge. You get that feeling come across, but in the book it's different. And this is a similar sort of thing. It's why do the robots do this? The idea of using smiles to communicate, while it's going to look quite a bit dated in about 10, 15 years, people are going to look back and go, oh my god, do you remember emojis? I made a whole episode around it. It's current and it's now, and to be fair, Doctor Who's always done that, particularly in the news series. They've always done what's current and now, and they've always focused around that. So I'll forgive them a little bit for that. The episode's written by Frank Cottrell-Boyce. I was very concerned when I saw who was writing it. I thought I recognised the name before, and I thought, well, I recognised the name from something in the past. And when I looked into it, I discovered that he was the writer of Season 8's In the Forest of the Night. Altogether, horrifically shitty episode. Oh, sorry, I didn't swear. A horrifically bad episode. Which was about trees somehow growing across the whole planet overnight, neglecting to think that, the Earth rotates and part of it's in daylight and night time at certain parts of the day. We'll gloss over that. But that episode was totally forgettable, really sugary, horrible, sweet, and really awful. This one actually is a lot better. It was a lot better focused and framed. It was a lot better framed, a lot better focused. But I can not do such outlandish premise. It's actually quite an enjoyable episode. So, Capaldi's on form as normal. Always good Doctor, always getting a few laughs. Right at the very start, you get a nice laugh. We don't have any idea in this episode. Well, he appears briefly at the start, but other than that, it's just Doctor and Bill by Palmaki. Obviously, just to build the dynamic between them. They don't want someone else interfering in the way, so take away that dynamic build between them, and that works really well. It gives her a chance to see what the Doctor does, also new viewers what the Doctor does. So it worked. That was a very clever and workful idea. Obviously, I like Matt Lucas to do, so I would like to see him more, but I'm sure he'll pop up in future episodes, although he looks like he'll be missing the next episode. Probably Matt Lucas' fees too high for the BBC. But we're going to see a bit more. Again, see that sort of nice chemistry and the form between the two. It was worked quite well. She's not stupid. She may come across a little bit stupid, but she isn't. She's actually very clever and points at very clever things. And it's been used almost like a mouthpiece for all the people who've criticised or poked holes in Doctor Who before. That's quite nice. I quite like that. The other characters in the episode are very one-dimensional, very simple. I mean, to be fair, they don't get much screen time. The two you meet at the very start, briefly explain, only on screen for about 30 seconds, but he gets all the idea across. And then a couple ones you meet later on, here's like about 10 lines, and he goes from like sort of wondering what's going on to we're going to kill everybody to oh dear, what's just happened. I don't know his name, I have to look him up, but overall not particularly, shall we say, there's not a lot of depth to him, but you're not going to get a lot of depth in a 3 minutes count, so I can sort of forgive that. But overall, I say it's nice. Again, they've confined to not have too many characters. They've kept it nice and neat and confined, which has worked well overall for the episode. Production-wise, I have to say I thought it was a beautiful looking episode. I was interested to find out. I need to find out where they filmed it because the city itself looked absolutely fantastic. Had that right balance of futuristic, kind of modern, but not too outlandish. It looked like a believable. Well, I'm guessing it's based on some parts obviously of real architecture, but the overall whole city as a whole looks and feels believable, which is always, in my opinion, good. It has to look and feel believable for it to work. And even when they go on a ship, the ship feels believable as a real place. And that really helps when an episode does that. It really almost grounds it in a way. And when you do that, you make it far more. You sort of gloss over and forget things. You forget you're watching a sci-fi. If you have an episode set in a really bizarre place, unless you go full out and make it totally and utterly brooding bizarre, like Farscape used to do in some of the good old episode days, you can't get away with it. If this episode is just a bit strange, but it's sort of regular concept, it always feels like sci-fi. When you ground it in a real place that looks real, that looks believable, and you can really believe it exists, it instantly makes the episode feel so much more involved and enjoyable, and that's a good thing. They did it right. The robots themselves, it's a nice idea. They look like something that could be. I could imagine like Honda bringing out in a few years' time. You know, I could actually believe that we're being built today in like Japan somewhere. A little robot with a smiley face. I dare say there's probably a robot like that out there already, which is probably what they're based on. But it's believable and it looks again realistic in this futuristic Doctor Who way. So yeah, really good. There's not great deal of special effects episode. A bit of CGI here and there to sort of top off things, but it's done very delicately. It's not too OTT and works really well. So really nice episode. Like I say, production of it is overall really good. It's just a pity that the pacing was not quite on form that it could have been. So overall, I actually really quite enjoyed it. I don't think it's the greatest episode. It's never going to go down as the best episode ever made. It's sort of a middle of the road level. It's not terrible. It's not brilliant, but it's enjoyable. It was an enjoyable 50 minutes. I'll happily sit through and watch it again. I won't feel like, oh god, I'm just going to skip this one when I watch it back. So yeah, really fun episode, really enjoyable episode. So looking forward to it. And next week we get to see the Doctor visit, looks like Victorian London, I'd say, but looks of it. Well, I say it's pretty obvious Victorian London. On the Thames. Looks like they're going to one of these frost fairs we used to have on the Thames when they had the mini ice age. So yeah, looking pretty darn interesting for next week's episode. Well, I've been TheSuffolkRam. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you have, please subscribe to our channel and sort of watch for further reviews in the future. We also do other things as well. We do Let's Plays. We do a bi-weekly podcast where we discuss computer gaming. And I dare say at some point in the future we'll discuss Who. I also hope at some point in the future me and another fan are going to try and do like a spoiler-filled talk about the series as it goes along. But we're working on logistics of that at the moment, so we ain't quite got there yet. But I hope to do something more in the future. So thank you very much for watching. I've been TheSuffolkRam. I look forward to seeing you on the next review next week. Thank you.